Yo, what's going on, guys? So I got a special guest speaker with me today. He's actually one of my students, Sikander, who got started with me a few months ago inside of my coaching program. Sikander, just introduce yourself. Like, where are you from? How old are you? And what do you do for like a professional job?
Yeah, what's up, guys? My name is Sikander Zafar. I'm from Chicago. I live in the suburbs, and I'm 25 years old. And like Daanish said, I started a few months ago, and my main work that I do is that I work for United Airlines in their digital technology department. So it's completely work from home. And the last few years, as I was working with United, I was thinking to myself, like, I need something on the side that I can get into that won't require too much time. And I tried a few different things along the way, and then recently, just a few months ago, I started this Airbnb work, which we'll talk about, but it's been pretty good.
Awesome, man. Well, I guess tell them a little bit about like number one, you're already working a full-time job. I know you're making decent money from there. Why, what was your main purpose with wanting to start an Airbnb business on the side? And I guess tell them a little bit about like how did we even connect? Like, did you know me for years? Like, how did we even connect and how did you
No, I mean, for every single person that even if they're making good money, but they're working for it, it's not the same as making passive income. Passive income is the goal for even like these physicians and big doctors, they still got to put in 80 hours a week and stuff like that. But passive income is what people really work for. So that was my mentality going into it. I'm like, I need something that builds me money, and real estate at the end of the day is what everyone talks about. So I actually met you through, you went to my gym actually, and I follow my gym's Instagram, and I saw that you posted, and you tagged the gym, and they reposted, and when I was going through the Instagram story, I saw, your page, and we're both brown. I know I'm not brown, but I saw that, and I'm like, who is this? So I clicked on your page, and then I saw all your posts, and from there I just started following you, and I saw your content. I'm like, this is something that I can see myself doing, and from there we just connected, and yeah, here we are.
for sure? So before, I mean, now you've been in the program for 3, 4 months. I
Yeah.
guess before you got started with me, how much would you say you knew about the Airbnb business?
Nothing, bro. I don't think I've been in an Airbnb once before I got into your business. I went on a trip with my friends to like Michigan, and we were in an Airbnb. But before that, I didn't know anything about Airbnbs and
You didn't really know anything about arbitrage.
nothing at all.
Got it. So let's talk about that. Right, 3, 4 months ago, you pretty much knew nothing about what Airbnb arbitrage is. How does it work? And let's tell them where you're at today. Right, like right now, how many properties do you own? I mean, how many properties do you have for Airbnb arbitrage? And then how much have you made this month, and how much are you projected to make next month in March of 2025?
Yeah, so currently I have four properties. I kind of jumped the gun and kind of just went all in. That's just the mentality that I have. I love taking risks. I'm not scared to take risks. I think that if you have that mentality in this game, I think you can be very successful because if you have the right mentor and the right, blueprint in hand, it's not really a risk. People like to say it's a risk, but it's only a risk if you don't have the proper guidance. So I think that with your course, you provide that blueprint, you provide, to me, the biggest thing, connections. I think you can't pay for connections because you don't know how far that connection can take you. You can't put a value on a connection. So sorry, I lost train of thought on your question, but I think you asked me how many properties and how much I'm projected to make.
Yeah.
So I have four
How much
properties.
this month in February of 2025, and how much are you
Yeah.
projected to make next month in March?
Yeah, so this month projected revenue is around 11.5K between my four properties. So I'll walk away with maybe like 3, 4K profit. And then for March is a pretty big month. Right now I'm looking at almost 14K revenue. But hopefully by the end of March, I'll probably have like 18 to maybe even 20K revenue, and I'll walk away with maybe like 10, 12K profit, hopefully.
Amazing. So 3, 4 months ago, you didn't really know what arbitrage was. 3, 4 months later, after being in the coaching program, having a little bit of guidance, um, your third or fourth month in business, you'll hit potentially about 10K in profit, right? Like that's a professional income. um, I guess people might be looking at this like, oh wait, how do you get into four properties? That probably costs a lot of money. Talk to them about, did you use your personal money to start up the business or did you get business funding?
No, I mean, the biggest thing about this is, I mean, you use business funding. It's not your own money. So you get a 0% credit card. And obviously through your course, you connect us with these bankers that help us get a high credit limit on these credit cards, and it's 0% for 12 months. So, hopefully you can get a $50,000 credit card. And with that 50,000, you can easily get into 3, 4 properties, maybe even more. Um, so that's kind of how I did it. And no, I didn't use any of my own money. I use these credit cards. And yeah, I mean, I haven't used a single dollar from my own personal income. So,
So I mean, let's okay, cool. So you didn't have to use your personal capital to start up your first four properties.
mhm,
You of course you still work in your job, right? Full time,
yeah.
and you run four properties. I guess to the people that might be looking into this is like, how is it that you run a full time job, and how is it that now you're running four properties and being able to manage both?
Yeah, I think,
And do you feel like it's doable, or do you feel like it's not doable for most
no,
people?
100%. I feel like I can handle another one of my main jobs. I feel like I can handle two of those and then add on 20 more properties. I feel like I can do all that. I think it comes down to like the mentality of your students, whoever's looking to take this course, you got to be hungry. I mean, the fact that you're looking to get into this, you obviously have some type of mentality, some type of hunger to get into the game. So I think it's just you can't be afraid to take the risk. Like I said, this is not really a risk, because you have the blueprint and you have the proper guidance from Danish and his team and his connections. So, yeah, to the students watching this, I think, don't be afraid to get started. I feel like once it's time to put some money down, people start overthinking. But if you don't take this opportunity, it's a missed opportunity, and this is where you get started.
For
So.
sure. I guess I always let people know, right? You can take two options when starting this business or any business is like you can go down the free route of information's out there, right? You could watch a bunch of YouTube videos about Airbnb. You can go on Google, try to find out all this information and start the business and possibly succeed. Or you can pay a coach or mentor who has the results, who maybe helped other people. I guess what made you be willing to invest into me? Because we didn't really know on a personal level, like we didn't know each other. I guess what made you be comfortable and willing to take that risk to invest into the coaching program with me versus being like, screw that, let me not pay this guy and let me just figure out all this information because the information is out there.
Yeah, I think your communication really stood out to me. And also your transparency too. I think you were just very upfront with, the properties that you have and how you run your businesses and your vision. And, that really stood out to me because when it comes to a business, because I've had a few businesses in the past, so I understand what it takes to build a successful business, and communication is one of the biggest things. Obviously hard work, that's a given, if you want to get into a business, you got to have that hard work. Like I knew you already had that attribute to you, but the communication stood out to me. Your profile that you have built, that also stood out to me. And when I started taking your course, when the moment I realized that I made the right decision is, your connections and your partners, they all spoke very highly of you. And at the same time, they were all telling me that you charge 3 to 4 times less than other mentors out there. So at the end of the day, your course is a steal, especially with the value and the connections that you provide. So
For sure. Awesome, man. Well, I guess, if you don't mind sharing, like, why don't you share people that might be looking in this, like, oh, maybe he's told by Danish what to be saying. Let's pop open your maybe a few of your units, maybe some of the money you're making. Are you cool with that? All right, let's do it.
yeah, of course.
We'll
I
we'll
think
put up
I
a
think
live profile as a student. Let's look at one of your properties, right?
yeah, I think for those students that still don't believe it, especially after seeing this, they're just, I mean, you're not a risk taker. Like you got to understand, like at some point in life, if you want to change something, you got to step into unknown boundaries, so this is one of my properties. This is probably the most successful property. I would say it's a 4 bed. I'm in Austin, Texas. You can see I got one of this badges right here, which it's hard to get, and also
Top 10% of homes. Boom. Like, I mean, you hit top 10% of homes, bro. Like a lot of people honestly don't even do that in their first property or first year of hosting with
yeah.
Airbnb. Like, what do you feel like got you to that level of like top 10% home, having good reviews? Like, bro, it's your first time running the business. Like, how do you feel like you got it to this kind of level?
It's the blueprint you provided. All the little details that you told us, one thing that as a host you have to really understand is the algorithm. How do you get your listing up at the top when people are searching for homes in Austin, Texas, right? And one thing that stood out to me is one of your connections, Matthew, who's really successful in this game. He showed me, or when you bought him on as a guest speaker, he talked about this book, right? This book that I have right here, and I read this book. I don't know if you could see it, but
Optimize.
um, optimizing your Airbnb. And this book has every single little detail that to really make your listing stand out. And I read the whole book in like 3, 4 days. So, those little details, reviews, like all these little things are what stood out to me. And like I said, connection is what got me to here, and it was through you. So
Amazing. I mean, click the little X on the left. Let's check out maybe like the revenue numbers a little bit. Like,
yeah, let
let's
me.
let's go into earnings maybe if you're cool with that.
Yeah, so you can see I
February.
started a few months ago. December was a slower month. These first 2 months were my learning period. I needed to make mistakes. I made a lot of mistakes actually, and I'm glad I made those mistakes because you could see, I'll show you here in a second. But also January, I had different platforms like Booking.com and Verbo, which brought in some bookings. So these two numbers, 7,000, January was also around 7,000, but February is where we picked it up. This month it's still considered a slow month, but we profited maybe 3 to 4K. And then March is a big month. I'm not even booked half on any of my properties. So this number definitely, I'm hoping for it to go to almost 20K
Yeah.
revenue.
Amazing. So 20K revenue will probably put you in the range of like maybe 8 to 10K profit for
Yeah.
all the properties.
Yeah.
That's built. And so you basically built, if everything projects to go, even if you don't expand to more properties, just between these four properties, you will project to probably minimum do 150 to 200,000 revenue this year between your business.
Yeah.
So
I mean, once you
like,
say it like that, I didn't think about it at a annual number, but it's
yeah,
crazy
but
to think
basically, bro,
about.
you built a six-figure Airbnb business in literally less than 3 months.
Yeah. I mean,
At the end of the day, like if we look at it, like if especially if someone has like the coaching guidance, anyone could do this. It's not like you're special or something like that. It's like anyone could make this happen.
yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it does come down to the student. I think you
Yeah.
gotta have a hustler mentality. You need to. Even for me, like the fact that you said it's 120, whatever number you said annual, like to
Yeah.
me in my head, I'm thinking that's nothing. Like I'm barely putting in this work for it to be 120. Like let's blow this thing up to like 500 to 600,000, So that's just the way I'm thinking about it. But I think, yeah, I think anyone can get into this business through your course and have these numbers. The only reason I have this number 3, 4 months in is because I took that risk. And like I said, it's not a risk because you have the proper guidance. So,
Sure.
uh,
Amazing, man. I mean, you could unshare your screen if you want. But yeah, so I mean, so doing super well, have a professional job. You guys started without knowing pretty much anything, without even knowing me on like a personal level. I guess what would you tell someone that's from the outside looking in that's been maybe looking to get into a business on the side? They know they want to do Airbnb, they have money saved, they have a good credit. Like, would you tell them to keep thinking about it? Would you tell someone like, yo, they should just take the leap of faith, take the risk, and just know like that things will work out if you just do the right things?
yeah, no, I mean, the thing is, I feel like people are very skeptical nowadays because there's ads everywhere, and you don't know what's right and what's wrong, what's true and what's false,
Mhm.
who's a scammer, who's not a scammer. Um, So I kind of understand from your students' perspectives or people that are interested in getting into the courses about why they're like a little hesitant. But you have so much proof, you have so many students that post their success. And at the same time, you're charging 3, 4 times less than what other mentors are charging. So to the students or the people that see this video, I recommend Danish 100%. And I'll vouch for him 10 out of 10 times. Anybody that has questions, you can reach out to me before even going to Danish, and I'll tell you exactly how it is. But um, you don't want to just sit there and just, not make a decision on this. Like, why not take, this opportunity, to do something? And, I recommend Danish in his course. He has everything laid out, his blueprint. You want to take the deal right now because, once he starts getting more students and builds his profile, the rates that he has now are going to be long gone. So the time is now. I mean, also one thing that anytime I'm watching TV, I know I'm doing the right thing with this Airbnb business because all I see is Airbnb ads. And one of my things that I was scared about getting into this business was I was scared that Airbnb was going to get saturated very quick. I thought I was late in the game. But once I saw that on TV, like as a business, from a business perspective, a business isn't going to spend money on marketing and commercials and ads if they're not doing good. Airbnb is booming, so they're marketing, they're putting ads out there, they're putting commercials out there. So if you want to get into Airbnb, the time is now to make money. So yeah, I recommend it to everybody.
For sure. I guess, how do you feel about, like, okay, so the first day you took the leap of faith, you paid the coaching and prices, whatever it was,
Yeah.
compared to now where, like, you're 3, 4 months into the business, you have a few properties. Were you expecting the business to go like this, or was it just like you just took the right steps and things happened, or were you expecting like this kind of outcome? Like in reality when you first started, like what were you expecting was going to happen in 3, 4 months compared to what actually has happened for you in 3, 4
Yeah,
months?
I feel like it all happened pretty quick. I wasn't expecting. Actually, I kind of was because I know my work ethic and I understand my mentality. So I knew that I can turn this into a successful business. I didn't think even the numbers that I showed you just now, to me, it's not anything crazy. Although I'm very grateful for it, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, like, I know what I'm capable of because of my work ethic and the hustle and the grind that I have and my experience that I have. But yeah, I mean, w when I saw your students and your success and everything, I knew that I could be one of your best students, or up there as one of the best students. So yeah, I knew that, the numbers that I see now are definitely what I was expecting when I first started. I think that also in the beginning, the students have to realize that you're going to make mistakes. I feel like nowadays, psychologically, every single person wants instant gratification.
Mhm.
It's not gonna be like that. Like you got to go through some shit to be successful. That's with any business. I have a few businesses. You gotta eat shit in order to see, success.
Your hardest
So
part is the starting part always.
yeah, exactly. So I made a few big mistakes. That's why you saw my December and January revenue numbers were kind of low because I went through some mistakes. But yeah, I mean, I could have quit right there and said like this is not for me, but I just turned all those into learning points and experiences. And
Yeah.
yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean,
I think a lot of business just comes down to your mindset, and at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, it's having the right, like, yeah, you could have had the right blueprint, you had the coaching, but it's like majority of people in your situation could have been like, screw this, I took a loss, I want to get out of the business, compared to your
yeah,
mindset. All right, I took this loss, I learned, let me not make that mistake, and then let me just bounce back. So
exactly.
that's come a lot. I think it comes a lot of down to someone's mindset. Well, let's leave it off on a note, man. Where can people find you if they do have questions for you? Maybe they do want to reach out after watching this. Like, where can people find you at?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram. My Instagram is Sikander Zafar 23, SIKANDERZAFAR 23. Yeah, just ask me questions. I mean, sometimes it's hard people are hesitant to go through the source. You're the source to ask those, you know, questions that they might be, feel like are a dumb question. So if you have questions about the course, just definitely come to me. I will answer it with full honesty. If you guys want to know what mistakes I made, I can tell you those because that's probably what people are gonna, signify throughout this video. They're like, oh, he made mistakes. Like, if you want to know what mistakes I made, I can tell you. But the blueprint is there. Danish has it. The course, like I said, is undervalued. Although he has so much value in the course. So yeah, I recommend it 100%. This connection that I have with Danish, I appreciate you a lot, bro. I know I haven't texted you that, but I do appreciate you, and I appreciate you the people that you connected me to. And I know that you know, we're definitely going to be working together in the future. So this is just the beginning.
Sir, let's get it.